What is going on, everybody? Jumbo Thick here, back with more Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. This is our Rise of the Forsaken campaign, our 4th edition roleplay. This is the Rise of the Forsaken, as I mentioned earlier, and I am, of course, your DM for tonight, your GM, Mr. Jumbo Thick. And I am joined by the entire cast of the Unfortunate Fellowship in all their glory as they are primed and ready for their venture into Bretonia. If you care to introduce yourselves, boys, starting with Mr. Jumbo Smooth.
Hello, everyone. I am Jumbo Smooth. I'll be playing the role of Marius Wolf this evening. If you don't remember, Marius Wolf, his description, at least, he is he's a short man. He's about 5'9", you know, probably actually probably pretty tall for this day and age. You know.
Indeed.
And he's got gray hair, blue eyes. I like gray eyes like everyone else. He's 27 years old. He's a pit fighter, and he's just a peasant, just a lowly peasant. So, yeah, squiring for Sir Seamus right now.
Ooh, yeah. What's up? What's up, everybody? You know me. I play Sir Seamus now, the noblest of knights, as I am about to win the fair maiden Emma's hand in this tournament. I'm going to marry into the Bonneau family.
Yep.
And me and Bragadine are going to become best bros.
Yep, you'll be literal brothers. How about Mr. Pierce Galactic?
Bragadine doesn't know how he feels about that. Friends, this is again Pierce Galactic. I will be playing the part of Bragadine. Sure you guys all remember him. A large man, 5'3", striking gray eyes, a light brown hair, dashing, savage scar across his face.
Savage.
An artist, a writer. Savage. Hasn't been doing a lot of writing lately, but we are back at his home. We have met his stern, unloving father, his dick of a brother, and his mother, who apparently has taken Bragadine's idea of Sir Seamus to actually knight Sir Seamus. And if you listen to the last episode, just remember, Seamus, just go get on the ground, fight him with the sword, and lose. There you go. No need to try and win this one. No need to. You don't need to join my family. There we go.
Of course. And with the introductions out of the way, let's get right into it, because I'm excited about this one, and I know you are as well, as a noble tournament is being held currently for Bragadine's sister, Lady Emma's hand, as well as a relic of sorts of the Bonneau family to go with it. And of course there is the fact that you will be marrying into the oh-so-prominent Bonneaus of Paravon. The Fellowship crossed through the underway through a treacherous journey, I might add, with the assistance of some dwarves that unfortunately all lost their lives, and the escape of not only orcs, but a foul basilisk. The crew made it through the mountains and to the edges of a mighty forest. They decided to take the paths of Athel-Loren, which quickly led them to a individual who guided them, an elf of sorts that Marius was none too happy to see, that instructed them in taking a certain path, which then quickly popped them out of said forest near Paravon, near Michaud Bonneau's lands. Upon entering his noble holdings, Bragadine led them to the town of Pig's Gutter, as he lovingly calls it, where it was became quite apparent that the young lord has had more than his few trysts with the peasant folk that dwelled there, and a Bretonian cat fight broke out. some words were exchanged and some slander to be had. Some dark things that had to be edited out of the past video took place. And then, after that, we were led by a few men-at-arms, soldiers of sorts of Bragadine's household, that led them to the castle. We're just going to call it the castle for now, Castle Bonneau, because Chateau Bonneau, because the other name was too hard to pronounce, and I just don't want to do it again. So we went to the chateau.
We accept that.
Exactly. I hope you accept it, because there was a lot of fumbling around with French names last episode.
Oh, yeah, there was, bro.
We made it to the chateau. Upon entering the chateau, we discovered that the dinner that was taking place the night before the wedding was underway, and it was a social gathering. There were many notable families present. Do you remember the important ones, Monsieur Bragadin?
Yes, we had, we had the, oops, sorry, I'm dropping my mic. You still there?
Still here.
Hello? Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We had the guy, Lovers, who was the, I can't pronounce it. You couldn't pronounce it either, though, so I'm fine about that. Mm-hmm. Who is the cousins to the ruling family. Well, they're related to the ruling dukedom of Paravon, I thought.
They are. Yeah, I believe I settled on Louviers, I guess. Louvier, maybe?
Louviers? Okay.
Whatever. It's not that important.
Those slats Continue. That open up?
Yeah.
All right. We had, I thought both of my sister's families were there. We had both the Duprees from Tanya and the Bessos, which was Gabi.
The Bessos.
And I also seem to remember that the very corpulent, triple-chinned, very pale with his dark-haired pale wife and his most Chad-like son, Christophe, the
Bonpuis.
B-U-N-P-U-I-S. Bonpuis.
Yeah, Bonpuis.
That's who I remember right now. But I also thought we had... no, I think that's it. That's all I can remember.
Those were the notable people. There may or may not have been more people present, but Bragadin was not in much of a talking mood, as was apparent to all of the fellowship, as he was laughed at, made fun of, almost got into a fight with his brother, which would have been quite interesting. His brother, in fact, may or may not have been attempting to start a bit of a tussle. And Bragadin felt like he did not need to engage too much with those present, outside of his mother and his sister, of course, which he very much loves, and they much love him as well. Not only did that take place, but an introduction was had between Bragadin, his father, and, of course, his companions that he brought into the hall. And they were introduced as rabble of a sort, but Seamus was introduced as Sir Seamus, as a knight of the Empire, which apparently
of Kislev.
Kislev, that's correct, of Kislev, and apparently was taken to heart, because after the festivities died down and some mysteries were had and laid bare, the fellowship arose on the next morning, bright, chipper, ready for the tournament to take place, knowing that in this particular case, which there are strange rules for this tournament that is being held right now, very unusual, and your mother noted that it was quite strange in a secret letter that she had sent to you. And Emma, of course, also kind of talked about it briefly. And there should be a representative of the family that takes place in the tournament. And if no one can beat them, then she will just go unmarried for some reason. The representative was, of course, going to be your eldest brother. Unfortunately, something happened to the elder Bonneau. As
he got too drunk as usual.
Yes, indeed. You were looking for Gerard, and your mother came and fetched you quickly. Bragadine brought you to outside of the stands, out near one of the peasant fields, and found Gerard face down. It looked like he had puked at some point, and he just reeked of alcohol. And he was in his full gear, his full plate armor, and he was unconscious to the umpteenth degree. But there had to be a representative, and unfortunately, during your trek under the mountains, Bragadine's arm was broken, and he cannot hold a lance. So, Sir Seamus was nominated as a knight. However, Bragadine did regretfully inform his mother that he was not in fact a knight, but she told him that he better keep that to himself, because you do not want to disappoint father. And so Sir Seamus is currently representing the Benows in this tournament. A speech was made to the lady, of course. Preparations took place. Seamus was quickly belted and strapped into a full set of plate armor and chainmail underneath. He looks like a walking tank currently. He was saddled upon a massive, almost Clydesdale-sized horse. I didn't ask you, though. Do you have a preference on color, Seamus?
Brown.
Brown? Okay. We'll say just a lighter brown, very large horse. Chestnut. We'll go chestnut. A chestnut-colored horse that he's currently riding. There is the tabard of the Bonneau household draped over the horse. And of course, Seamus is currently wearing a tabard himself in their colors, and his shield is painted in those colors as well. Bragadine, did you have a preference for the colors?
A deep red.
Okay.
Like almost a burgundy. Mm-hmm. With a... I'm colorblind, so I'm trying to think what's a good complementary color to that. That's not garish.
We could do
maybe blue.
Yeah,
Wait.
You could do blue, or the colors of Paravon are black and gold. If you want to maybe incorporate.
Black and gold.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Actually,
that's
you know
like
what?
that's like the Duke's colors. So
Okay, I'm gonna be Uncle Rico here and go back to high school colors and say purple and gold.
Purple and gold. Okay. All right. So
Purple and gold.
So yeah, a purple and
Burgundy
gold.
and gold.
Yeah, burgundy and gold. Ron Burgundy and gold.
Yeah. That's right.
Regardless. So, and there's a panoply of just crazy combinations. You have got yellows and blues and whites and reds. And there are 10 other participants in this tournament, Seamus. However, one of them recently died as he took a lance to the throat in the joust before you. And so now there are 9 in this tournament. You were squaring up on your horse, Seamus, nervous. Marius was on the sidelines as your acting as your squire. Marius, I do need to ask you, what are you currently wearing? Are you in your full gear with like your leather chest piece and your pick, or are you in something more simpler like many of the other squires here?
I mean, I feel like I'd be, since I wore the leather to the party and everything, I'd probably be wearing the leather out and about too.
What about your pick?
Pick won't leave my side really.
All right.
It's not something it will be on my back, but I'll be trying to squire as best I can. I do have the puffy shirt underneath.
That is fair indeed. So currently, I forgot to mention you both have these very interesting clothes, as Bragadine had your clothes burned. So you are in full
boots on.
They were terrible.
Yeah, you have nice boots.
Got the new boots.
You both got new nice quality boots, but you are unfortunately wearing some very frilly, poofy undershirts. So yeah. So you are on the sidelines currently.
In Bretonia.
It is, of course, it's high fashion, and of course they are Go ahead.
I said I assume I'd be on the sidelines, or like, I guess helping Seamus if he needs help, like getting on the horse or getting his lance and stuff.
Yes. Well, he gets up there just fine, but he will need his lance, which you hand to him. And Seamus, you begin to square up on the side of the jousting kind of makeshift gate that they have. Well, it's not makeshift; it's actually very well put together. That separates the two riders from each other, and the joust is about to be underway. Your opponent, Mr. Christoph, is not wearing his helmet. He is otherwise fully garbed in all of his colors, and of course a full set of plate mail. He's not even wearing his chainmail coif. His head is completely exposed. He's very pale skinned and has a dark head of hair, and he has just a rakish grin that he is giving to the crowds. Throws his arms up wide, pandering to them. You hear shouts, "Yeah, yeah!" People. Nobody's booing you, Seamus, so that's a plus. But up in the stands, the Lord Benoit, your father, Bragadine, he sits up just a little bit in his chair to kind of get a better look at the current match going to take place. Judging the skill of your companion, your mother looks rather nervous. Emma also looks extremely nervous, but also looks a little excited. There's a little bit of a flush in her cheeks, Bragadine, as you glance over at them. The only other people up here in this kind of...
We do most.
Exactly. In this upper tier where you're at, you're kind of above the main stands, is the man that was calling out, announcing, whom is just some random peasant. You don't need to know his name. He's got like a little trumpet by him, whenever announcements need to be made. And there are 2 men-at-arms, one on each side of the entrance that leads in, because there are kind of like stairs that wrap around this on the outside that lead up to it, and there's one at each entrance into the box itself. As well is Gaston, your mother's servant, and your family's servant, is currently waiting on your mother and has brought her a fresh glass of a deep red. He brings the plate over to you, Bragadine, offering it if you'd like to take a glass.
Thank you, Gaston.
Of course, my lord. And he nods his head low. Bragadine, go ahead and give me a perception test. Real quick.
Okay. Oh, yeah. First one of the night.
Yep.
Oh, shit. I was thinking earlier, I just want to burn the fortune points out of the way so we can just go see what happens.
Yeah, do it.
We're going to start doing that. That was an 80.
Ooh.
So, I mean, I would have got that if I was using my hearing, but I assume we're using my sight, so.
Okay.
I got 30 out of... You think we'd have these memorized, guys?
I think it's 50, isn't it?
Out of 59.
59? Ooh, yeah, it's higher than I thought. Okay, 59. So 30 out of 59. So that's 3 levels, almost 3 levels of success, 2 levels of success. Almost there. You were close. So, with that, Bragadine, you notice that as you take the glass, you notice that there is just a little bit of dirt on Gaston's sleeve. It's kind of uncouth of him, and you kind of sneer for a second, and he catches your eye.
In a cold stare.
Yeah, and he catches your eye and quickly dusts himself off, and then quickly retreats out of the box. And that's what you notice. Down on the field, however, we have Seamus strapped, ready to go. You're mounted on your horse. You have your lance at the ready. And your opponent is currently just waving at the crowd, not a care in the world. His squire reaches up and hands him his lance, and he just kind of easily does a couple practice maneuvers with his lance, and then looks like he's preparing himself for the go-ahead. Are you doing anything, Seamus, in preparation?
On the surface, no, but inside, probably slightly freaking out.
I would assume so. But
I'm trying to be that rock, you know.
Exactly. You're a cool man, and you know you keep your wits about you. You've been in perilous situations, but none that were quite as unique as the current setting you find yourself in. Quickly thrust into a jousting tournament. However, this is where we begin our skill challenge. Every single round in this tournament involving Seamus will be a skill challenge for the party. So this is where I head over to Marius. When you can either choose to do something right now as Seamus is ready, or we can kind of rewind before he got up on the horse or anything like that, and you can aid him in some way then. But what would you like to do to aid Seamus in his joust?
Could I... like inspire him or like pep him up or something? Give him confidence.
Okay. How would you do that?
I'd probably let's see here. I can use my leadership.
All right. Go ahead
skill.
and give me. Yeah. Go ahead and first before you roll it though.
Okay.
Go ahead and give your little speech to Seamus real quick. It doesn't have to be long.
Yeah. As I'm handing up the probably the lance, Seamus, I don't know too much about this, but that dumb bastard over there is wearing a helmet, so aim for the head. And I
All right.
his lance.
Okay. Go ahead and give me that leadership roll. Let's see how well Seamus takes it.
Okay. That's an 11 out of 48.
Critical success. With that, Seamus, I'm going to say there will be no penalty to aim for his head if you want to make an aimed shot towards the man's head.
Nice.
There will be no penalty with a critical success. So there is that. Then we will flip up to the stands. Bragadine, would you like to aid Seamus in some way from high up here?
I don't think I can inspire him after Marius just did that. So I'm going to give a little speech. But what if I lean over? Oh, dear sister, my friend Sir Seamus here. He's new to this country, and he knows no one around here. Perhaps you could grant him the lady's favor and tie was it a handkerchief or a sash? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Like a ribbon.
Yes, we're going Knight's Tale.
And tie. You got it, brah. You got it right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Show him our support.
So, of course, Bragadine. And she calls over, Gaston. And Gaston quickly makes his way over to her, attending her. Yes, my lady. Take this, and she unties it looked like she was wearing a bit of a scarf, or not a scarf, some kind of fancy neck garment of a sorts. She unties it and hands it over to Gaston, and make sure that our representative has a bit of comfort in knowing that we are supporting him. And yes, my lady. And right before you're about to start, Seamus, the manservant Gaston, who looks very, very prim and proper. However, Seamus, go ahead and give me a perception test. You're currently in your full armor gear, so you're at -20 for your perception.
Yeah, I failed. I rolled a 90.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Marius, you can give me one.
Perception?
Yes. Perception.
Let's see. That's a 32 out of 57.
Okay. So as you see Gaston walk up, you notice, Marius, that his boots are just covered in like dirt, all the way up to like mid-boot, just covered in dirt. And it looks like he's very self-consciously trying to drag it through the grass, trying to brush some of it off as he's approaching. And you see that he has that piece of cloth in his hand that was apparently one of Emma's, and you recognize it from the night before, as it was a part of the dress that she was wearing. And he approaches you, Seamus, getting your attention. So Seamus,
Yes.
and this is a gift from the lady, Emma. And he hands you the garment, the long silk cloth. It is how do you say, custom to tie about a weapon.
All right.
And his Reichspiel is very rough, so it's probably even rougher than what I just explained. But and he quickly,
yes.
as you take it, he walks away.
Seamus, this is the part where you wave at the lady.
Hello.
You
wave my hand.
you wave.
If I can even see where they are.
you wave up. You wave up towards the stands, and you do see Seamus. It's hard to focus, but you do see a woman in a pure white dress. She has a wreath about the top of her head, and you would recognize from the hair color that it definitely is Lady Emma. And you do see the Lord Bonneau and his wife, and of course Bragadine up there, very easily discernible as his right arm is in a sling. And you give a wave, and you see her stand up and brings her hands to her lips and blows you a kiss, Seamus.
Oh.
Bragadine, you see your sister do this, and you quickly grab a hold of her, pull her back. Very uncivilized. Don't know what's gotten into her lately.
Emma.
Yes, I cannot help myself. Your father just has this hateful look in his eyes as he glances down, and he calls over one of his personal servants, whispers something into his ear, and then he takes off.
Is Gaston, has he left yet?
Yes, Gaston is left it already. He's already left, and he's making his way back to the Bonneau family.
Question.
Yes.
Marius has lore geology. Would the dirt
on
his boots indicate anything like where he's been, maybe?
Okay. Now, unfortunately, you don't know much about the geography of Bretonnia, but you would recognize it. It doesn't look like dirt or mud even that you've seen around the castle or anywhere nearby.
Okay, yeah, probably some mud at Pig's Gutter and stuff. Yeah.
Yes, you saw plenty of mud in Pig's Gutter, but it just doesn't look like that. You're not exactly sure where he's been, but he's been somewhere else.
Okay.
Okay.
Mary's going to keep his eye on him.
Okay, yeah, you keep an eye on him. Okay, all right.
If ever he's close by, you know.
Yes. Now he's
Take a
made
long, hard
it.
look
Yeah,
at it.
he's made it far away from you. He's making his way
that's fine.
back up. But yes, I will make a note of that.
Yeah.
Okay. At this point, Seamus, because of the lady's blessing, as it was, you see just a flush come across your opponent's pale cheeks as he sees the garment and Marius ties it to to your lance, and he just looks pissed off. Yep. Oh yeah, he looks extremely upset. Maybe a little reckless. Maybe he won't be at his best as his emotions are clouding his current wherewithal in this joust. Places are taken. There is a man in the center with a large checkered flag in the colors of Paravon. Let the second match commence! And the flag waves down and he quickly takes a few steps back. Are you charging, Seamus?
Yep, I would take that as a sign and go, yeah!
Full charge,
Off
full
I
charge
go.
ahead. You level your lance, and as you do, you see the Christoph at the same time levels his lance in your direction with just a clenched jaw. He's got it clenched so tight you can see all the veins bulging out of his neck. I need you to make me a attack. This will be just your straight weapon skill.
That's pretty good. That is a 21 out of 45.
And are you aiming for his face?
Yes, with no.
You don't. You
penalties.
because yeah, but you don't
Yes.
have a penalty. Yes. Okay. All right. So that's 2 levels of success. You lower the lance, Seamus, and it's awkward. It is awkward. It's just a long, strange to hold weapon that you've never used before and you've never seen used before. But you kind of got the idea from the first fight. The pointy end goes towards the your opponent, and you level it. And as you do, the just sheer force of 2 moving horses with men atop them is coming to a crescendo as the hooves da-dum, 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 and you get closer and closer and closer to within. Time seems to slow as you pivot the lance upwards away from your opponent's chest towards his throat and his face. And as you do, you see the man suddenly looks a little shocked. He's taken aback. And it's in this moment that your lance drags through his throat. Takes a nasty hunk of meat. Let me see how much damage that is. That is 6, 7, 8, 9. That is 11 wounds you inflicted on your opponent. Let me make a test. He does, however, remain seated. Seamus, and he flinches as you pass each other. You get to the end of the run that you both are in, and you canter your horse back around, and he's got his hand clamped against his throat, and he quickly, immediately, and he starts charging towards you again. Are you returning the favor?
Oh yeah, we're going again.
Okay, we're going again. Second pass.
Oh god.
Go ahead and give me another attack.
Do I gain momentum with these or no?
Say what?
Do I gain?
Oh
momentum?
yes. You will get
Okay.
get 1 momentum for this.
All right, so it's a 55 then. I'm gonna burn a fortune if I can.
Oh, you can.
All right, And that one, not as good. This one's going to be a 37 out of 55.
37 out of 55. Okay. All right. Let's see here. This is an attack. It's a simultaneous attack. Let's see here. He's charging at you, Seamus, and you once again pivot the lance up at the last second, aiming again for his throat, for his face, his head in general. And there's just this bloody mess of his neck where blood's just starting to pour over his nice, beautiful plate armor and wetting the tabard. Bragadine in the stands after the first pass. I would imagine you probably have a smirk on your face as your hated rival just almost got his head taken off by Seamus. And several people in the crowd are taken aback. Your father included looks a little... he kind of sits up for just a moment. And Emma may or may not just had to uncross and recross her legs.
Oh, no.
However, Seamus, this time... the man's ready for your advance, and he very agilely ducks his head to the side as the lance passes above, and he clips you across the top of your helmet, your mask. Four.
Oh, no.
Jeez.
18 wounds. You can reduce it. You can reduce it by your full armor and your toughness.
Okay. All right.
So I'm assuming that was a heavy blow, but I need you to make me a ride check to stay on your horse.
All right. That is a 3 to stay on the horse.
Okay, all right. So as you clip past, ding, and as it tings off your mask actually reverberates and shakes for a second, and you feel the sheer impact almost rocks you off the top of this horse, and you hear him a little sneer from him as he passes you and keeps running. You come to the end for the second time, and you hear Kristoff turn. "Come now, stranger. Is that the best you've got?" And he's going to charge you again, Seamus.
All right.
One last pass. Go ahead. Give me your attack roll.
Ooh. Did I lose momentum from that hit?
You did. You lost your momentum, and he has some momentum now.
All right, that is a 27 out of 45.
27 out of 45. Are you aiming for the head again?
It depends. If I'm not forgetting the penalties for it still, then yes.
No penalties. No penalties from the skill
All
check.
right, yeah. Still,
Okay.
Still aiming for the head then.
All right. You pivot around. You level the lance at his head for the last time. Bragadine, you see your sister's hands are on the rail and they're beginning to dig into the wood. Marius, you see as Seamus, full tilt after taking a hard blow, is just rumbling forward, and the horses approach, and you get to the point, the defining moment of this fight, as Seamus, you recorrect at the last second, pivot forward, and dig in to the side of this man's neck once again. I need you to roll me a D100.
Oof. 85.
Okay, let's see how bad this is. Ooh. Seamus, as you tilt the lance up, you catch him under the jaw and wrench his head backwards as the lance pierces through his jaw and out the other side, and it takes a hunk of meat with it, and his grin that he had before is definitely gone, as his mouth is a complete bloody mess as you pass through.
Oh, yes.
And and as he does, his lance drops and he is taken clear off of his horse and flung towards the stands. And his body limply rolls to a stop about 15 feet away as you pass through. And he is laying there and not moving.
Mary starts cheering.
Yeah, Marius is screaming. People in the stands are screaming. You notice Bragadine, that the elder Bonpui, the man with the triple chin, is just in complete disgust. Oh, you can't exactly hear what he's saying from down in the stands, but he looks very upset, and his wife just looks completely disturbed by what just happened. Some peasants, a specific, almost like a doctor of sorts, comes running out towards the night. His squire comes running over, and they're looking him over, and they very quickly and hurriedly remove him from the bloodied field of the tournament Joust thus far, as there may or may not have been a second casualty. We'll find out later.
For the bloody Joust.
I cry out, get that trash off the field.
Yes, of course you do. Of course you do. In Bretonian, of course. So just the fans here, and you see the look on the elder Bonpui's face as he looks up at you, and there's just daggers staring at you, Bragadine. And your sister gives a little chuckle. oh, Bragadine, your friend is he is quite skilled, no?
Oh, he is. I mean, granted, it was I who saved his life so many times, but
of course,
in our many adventures of he's definitely shown his martial prowess.
I would believe so. Any man that can ride a horse like that, I mean, and we will cut away from there at that moment.
Bragadine has to take a cool test real quick.
Make a cool test. So, your first joust successful, Seamus. You canter your horse over to Marius. There's still your head is still rocked by the blow you took. What would you like to do before you? Yes, you can. So, do you accept this, Seamus?
Yeah, I'll probably toss my lance down to him, and then get off my horse and probably wobble a little bit.
Yeah, just for a moment, steady yourself. And then, Marius, you quickly roll over to him. Go ahead and give me that medicine check. The heal check.
I rolled a 10 out of 37.
Okay. All right. So you recover your intelligence bonus
so
plus...
that would be
yeah.
5 wounds.
So you recover 5 wounds,
nice.
Seamus. Not bad for cut man Marius. As he's had to kind of he's had to doctor himself up in the pits, so he's gotten a little better at this even, and he patches up. You just have not even a minor concussion. You just got rocked a little bit hard, but you're still good to go. You do notice, Seamus, that there is a bit of just a tiny crack in the top of your mask where that lance hit, just from the sheer impact. But other than that, are you ready to go?
Hell of a shot, Seamus. I guess I'd give him a new lance, probably. Is it lance broken? Or?
It is at this point, yes. It's 3 passes. It is definitely not of use. And some men-at-arms escorted by like some tournament, what would you call these people? I don't want to call them carnies, but... tournament workers of a kind.
Peasants. They're
peasants. They're all peasants. They're all peasants of Bragadine. Another peasant comes up with a new lance for you. My lord, and he says this in Bretonian, that you don't understand, but I'm sure you take it from him. and are ready when your next joust commences. There are 3 more jousts after you, Seamus, because there were 10 men in this tournament. There are now 8. It is quickly dwindling. The next 3 you have, the winners are, you have the representative of the Louvier family, looks like a younger man in the colors of the Louviers. He wins his joust next. Both opponents live, much to your chagrin, I'm sure. The next joust is between the one of the representatives of the Duprees and a unnamed knight that you do not recognize, Bragadine. Not exactly sure which family he hails from, but the representative of the Duprees wins his joust as well. The final joust takes place, and it is between 2 unnamed knights that you really have never heard of, Bragadine, at all. You never heard of either of these families. However, one of them catches you because the joust is quick, concise, and done and over. And one man is left dead, and it looks like he was completely outmatched. You've never seen a knight this skilled before, Bragadine. Seamus, you would probably recognize the horsemanship as being superb. And he's wearing a jet black charger. It's a little bit smaller horse than the ones you guys are using. Not by much. And there is a very, like a metal almost, ridged helmet over the horse's face that almost completely obscures the eyes. So it's strange how he's steering it so well. He just must have put in a lot of training into this animal. And the knight is in an unassuming white tabard with a black grail across it as his colors, and he's in full plate mail. Can't see his face. He's wearing a full helmet, and he has his shield and his lance, and he completely outclasses his opponent and leaves him dead without taking a scratch on the first pass. So where there were 10, there are 7 left in this competition. But that leads us to the next match. As Seamus, you are the next rung in the tournament. You are called back, right, Seamus, by the tournament goers, the tournament representatives. And yes, that was an interesting match, everyone! As you hear the man call out in Bretonnian, Seamus and Mary, so you have no idea what he's saying, but you're assuming he's making the announcements. And once again, we have Sir Seamus. Ah, yeah, put him in a body bag. And then you have on the other end the knight that you just saw kill a man with ease, with the very unassuming tabard. It rolls up, and of course we have we don't have a name, but we have the bloody spectacle that just happened, and he's got just thick matted arterial spray across his tabard that he hasn't even bothered to clean, and his squire just looks pathetic. Looks like skin is taut. Looks like he's barely eaten anything, and he's just kind of waving flies away from his face currently. And the knight lines up with you, Seamus.
All right.
The representative comes out. Yeah, go ahead, Marius.
Seamus, watch out for this one. He looks like a mean son of a bitch.
Well, Marius, if I beat him, I should have an easy way to the finals.
All right. Just Sigma, I'll be with you, and I'll say.
Don't worry about
prayer.
me, Marius.
Oh boy. All right, Seamus, go get him.
All right, Seamus. With that, do you want to do anything, Marius, as the skill challenge has been set forth to aid Mr. Seamus?
Is there any way I can did I watch the last fight?
Mm-hmm.
The last joust?
Yes.
Is there any way I can is there anything I can
Glean from it?
deduce from that? Yeah.
Yeah, give me an intuition
that
test.
might be helpful to him. Okay. $18 out of 40.
Okay, how many? 18, 20, 30. Okay, 2 levels of success. Very good. With that, they kind of whisper a couple things about the fight, reminding Seamus, because he was watching it as well, that it looks like perhaps the man maybe was favoring one of his legs as he was walking up, and you kind of remind him that he might be a little slow on one side. And you will now have a +10 to your first pull through your first attack, Seamus.
Ooh, all right.
And Bragandine, would you like to support Seamus in some way?
I got something kind of creative here. You're gonna have to tell me if.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm too far away to really support Seamus himself. I mean, Marius is down there by him. I'm up in the stands with my family, but I'm concerned. There's Timma is. I can tell she has a little crush on Seamus, and I can see that she's holding onto the railing, and she's concerned, and I want to. I'm going to try to make her laugh and see if I can balance my wine glass in my broken hand, and see if I can kind of do just a little sleight of hand.
Okay, yeah. Give me.
Just try to make her laugh. See if I can raise her mood.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a sleight of hand test then.
Let's see here. We're going to use that other fortune point. So we're down. No more fortune points. I got a 20 out of worth it. Out of if it makes Emma laugh, it is worth it. I got a 20 out of 51.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
3 level success.
Yes, you balance it and you kind of get her attention, and she, and it's a delicate but loud, and it carries. Seamus, you hear Lady Emma chuckle a little bit, and your spirits are raised, and you sit up just a little bit taller than you were before. Any dread that may have washed over you is gone, and you are immune to the effects of any fear that may have overtaken you in this moment. So there is that. You match up with the unnamed knight, and the announcer. Well, it appears this is a Sir Michael. Yes. Well enough. Begin! And the flag is pulled through, and the joust commences.
All right, kicking those spurs. We're going.
Kick the spurs. We are charging ahead. Go ahead and make me your attack, sir.
All right. Ooh, yeah, that is a 19 with the +10. It's a 55.
So 19 out of 55. That is 19, 20, 3 levels of success. Okay.
Yep.
Seamus, the individual, as you're charging through, he's completely emotionless, stalwart, and it's actually unnerving because he's almost mechanical as he is charging towards you, and for some reason his horse is just faster, and you kind of meet at an odd point. You don't meet in the center. You meet more towards your side, like you've made it about almost to the midpoint where normally your last joust took place. So you're taken just a slightly off guard, but not enough that you completely throw your lance any off direction. You do pivot towards him, and you clip his shield arm, but at the same time, he clips yours.
Ooh.
And you are going to take 17 wounds.
Oh, God.
Now, your shield is an additional 2 armor. So that's 6 armor on the shield arm, plus your toughness bonus. But I will need you to make me a ride check, Seamus.
6. Alright, and then ride check. Ride check is a 33 out of 46.
Okay, so you critical success. You managed to completely right yourself. And with a critical success, I'm going to give you an additional plus 10 on your next attack as you ride down and then spin around and immediately charge back through. And as you begin charging again, Seamus, you see the man and his somewhat smaller charger spin around. And as they turn, you notice that his horse looks thin, like you can see some of the ribs as he turns. But there's so much power behind him. You did significant damage to him, but Marius, you notice as he spins that while the armor is notched and looks like it has been hurt, the man is not favoring anything. He looks relatively unhindered as he makes another pass. Go ahead and roll me in another attack, Seamus. Just a plus 10 on this.
Plus 10, so that is a 21 out of 55 again.
Okay, Seamus. You and you once again. This time, however, you plant the lance center mass towards the chest, and he moves his arm to attempt to parry it away, but he doesn't completely parry it away, as you are apparently more skilled than you realized. And you hit him in the chest, but he at the same time, through some kind of quick movement of the arm, plants the lance square in your chest. Simultaneously for...
Oh, this might do it.
Oh, this could do it.
For 16 wounds, Seamus.
Damn.
Some math.
All right.
Are you at 0?
9. Let's do some math here. So I got toughness bonus is 5.
Yeah, plus you have 4 for the chest.
16?
Yeah, 16.
Oof, I have 1 hit point left.
Okay, you have 1 wound as you... I do need you to make me a ride check, however.
I'm going to burn my fortune on that. Oh, ooh, yeah, that's a 10.
Okay, all right, so you manage to stay on your horse. You grasp the reins and grit through it, and you're hurting, Seamus. Your chest piece is dented, and it's pressing into your body right now, and you're in pain. But you pull through, and the man does the same. The knight does the same. He turns, and he readies for another charge, but he doesn't charge immediately. He just gives you a nod, Seamus. If you wish to concede, do so. I do not take pity on anyone. And he speaks this in a Reichspiel.
No McGreedy is ever going to back down from a fight, and I kick the spurs in, and I take
All right,
off.
go ahead and make me that attack roll.
Ooh, that is a 16 out of 45.
Okay, Seamus.
Yes.
16,
Don't hit me.
26, 36, 46. 3 levels of success. Seamus, you level a lance as and you start screaming, I'm sure, as you close the distance. And as you do, Seamus, the man lowers his shield, takes the hit on his shield, and completely deflects it above him, completely exposing you.
Jesus.
As he rams the lance through you.
Oh, man.
Let's see how this critical wound turns out.
Shit.
Oh, no.
Oh, shit.
Did you hit his face, bro, again?
No. He got hit in the chest.
That's good, I guess.
Oh, no. Evan's going to have to marry this dude.
Okay. Make me an endurance test, Seamus.
Still some more
All right,
events.
endurance. That is a 61 out of 67.
Okay, barely a success. So you do, however, you feel it doesn't penetrate through your body, but it completely knocks the wind out of you. And you are past 0 at this point. Let's see here. Because you saved... All right, your movement is halved until you get your breath back for the next 10 rounds of combat.
All right.
I will need you to make me a ride check, however, and you will be at a minus 20 now because you're past 0.
46. That is a 25, and the minus 20 is a 26.
Okay, Seamus, you
blessings of the lady.
barely managed to hold on, and as he passes, he comes back to you, Marius, and you can tell Seamus is hurt bad. The man spins about at the end and calls out once again, "There's no shame in being beaten, boy. Concede."
Oh, shit.
He says that to Marius?
He says it to you, Seamus. He's calling out to you.
Yeah.
And Marius, you see that Seamus is beat to hell. He looks bad. He looks rough. If he gets hit again, it's going to be bad.
Marius probably be like, Jameis, there's 2 other events.
Oh, I don't want to quit though.
Don't quit then. Don't quit. Let's do this.
I really want to ride this out.
We'll do it. Let's
God,
ride it
dude,
out.
bro.
Oh,
Shit. Oh, boy.
Yep.
Do it.
yeah. I'm not gonna quit in front of these Bretonians. They're gonna
Okay.
say bad things about
All right.
Imperials.
Seamus goes for another pass. You have a minus 20 on this roll because of your movement being so slow. He has severe momentum over you as he charges down. It looks like he's not pulling any punches. So go ahead and make me your attack, Seamus.
Oh, no.
Roll 11. Roll 11.
Oh, it's a 22.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Praise the lady, bro.
Roll me D100.
Oh, a 90.
90. Okay, roll me one more.
And a 4.
Damn it, dude. Okay. You lower the lance, Seamus, and as you do, you move just a little bit quicker. Almost in your severely wounded state, he doesn't expect you to kind of dip in the direction you do, and as you dip, you bring the lance down and you carve into his exposed thigh, where the plates aren't completely covering, and you actually dig into the soft flesh underneath. And you just drag through as you pass, and as you do, this blood just begins to pour out across your lance. Marius, you would notice that as the man comes to a turn behind you, he's not bleeding a lot. You saw the wound that he just took. This man should be bleeding, and there's not a ton of blood pouring out. And it looks like it's quickly stemming as well as he turns.
Naturally.
Yeah, not exactly. Well, I mean, you're not exactly sure. It looked like it should have hit harder than it did, and it doesn't appear that it has.
Is it the same side that he was favoring earlier?
Yes, it would be.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, and he grunts a little bit, and then he looks like his shoulders shift forward a little bit. He doesn't say anything. He just begins to charge back at you one more time, Seamus. Even with that devastating blow you just dealt. Are you charging?
How much damage did he do?
Oh, you did significant damage. You did, let's see here, 6, 9. You would have done 11 wounds straight, bypassing armor and everything. Because he didn't sacrifice his armor piece to absorb the blow.
Oh. All right, yeah, we're going again.
Okay, we're going again. Go ahead and give me your roll, Seamus.
Give me a low. That's a 20.
Out of with your minus 20. Out of 25.
With the minus 20. So then it would be 35. So 20 out of 35.
20 out of 35. Okay. Seamus, you charge one last time. And it is, in fact, the last time, Seamus, because...
Because I knocked him off his horse?
We'll see.
Yeah!
Essentially, this is not going to be good, Seamus. As you're charging towards him and you level the lance once again. Let me roll for this. Oh, shit. You know what? I'm going to let you roll. Roll me a D100. See if you rolled worse than me.
A 95.
Yep, you rolled worse than me. So you can either choose yours or you can go with mine, Seamus. I'm not going to tell you what mine was.
Yours.
Okay.
If I rolled worse.
Yep. We're doing a minus 20 because you only have one critical wound. So that puts you at right there. Jesus. Okay, Seamus. He lowers the lance and takes you above your shield arm. As it penetrates through, you cry out, and blood begins to openly just spill, project out of your arm as a artery has been nicked.
Oh, shit.
Shit.
You have 4 bleeding conditions, Seamus, and you immediately lose consciousness since you were at 0. And then you just fall off your horse as it keeps rolling. And you are in the throes of dying.
Marius is going to run over to him.
Marius runs over to him as quickly as he can. You make it over to him rather quickly. What are you going to do, Marius?
Try to stem the bleeding if I can.
Okay, give me a heal check.
Alright. Ooh, that's bad. Use fortune. It was an 88. That was bad. Oh, that's a lot better. That's a 26 out of 37.
Okay. Do you have any bandages on you, Marius?
I do have bandages listed here, yes.
Okay. With your heal check, you can deduce that something major has been nicked. You
Okay.
are not skilled enough to remove everything that's happening, but you can at least stem the flow. You know that enough with the bandages.
Slow it at least.
Yes. So you apply the bandages, which removes all the bleeding conditions, Seamus. It stops bleeding as Marius ties it through, but you wouldn't know because you're unconscious, Seamus, right now on the ground. So you can remove all of those, so you don't have to make a death save immediately. That's nice. However, with that heal check, Marius, you know that Seamus is going to need surgery. He's going to need surgery to fix his arm. This is a very serious injury. And if he were to move it funny or take another blow on this arm, you know it would open back up and he would begin to freely bleed once again.
Damn. I'd probably call out the Bragadine. Bragadine, do you have a doctor?
And as you're calling out, the filthy peasant men are coming out to look at the fallen combatant. They come over and begin to kind of poke and prod at him. And the de facto doctor looks like he's wearing robes, almost like a disgraced intellectual from the Empire, in fact. Yes, I am a doctor. Oh, that looks rather unpleasant. This way, men, this way. And they're beginning to try to move Seamus. Do you do anything, Marius?
Marius will probably try to help him. Like,
Okay. You help kind of, they kind of put him on like a makeshift stretcher and begin walking him out. You take up one of the four corners. And they walk him underneath the stands. Bragadine, are you doing anything in this moment?
I've stood up in shock.
Yes.
And not just kind of wait till I'm sure he is fine. Let me go see. I will be back.
Please do.
Mother, father, please excuse me. And I give my lord, mother, and father a bow. And
Yeah.
I
Your
head
father
out the back of
just
the box to,
your father doesn't even glance at you. He just kind of shakes his head in disgust. And your mother, of course, Bragadine, of course. And you begin making your way down towards where you know they bring the wounded combatants. You are brought into almost like a stable that has been cleared out, not too far from the tournament grounds. It's almost right on the tournament grounds, in fact. Some of the nobles' horses are being kept here. One of the larger stables, like one of the actual stalls, has been cleared out, and there are a couple beds in here. 3 of them have people in them, and they have white sheets over them that are soaked with blood. There is an open bed that they put Seamus on, and the doctor begins to you squire boy, you help me remove the are you man of Empire?
Oh, yes, I am.
Hey, this makes perfect sense. Otherwise, how would we be talking? Well, this is quite serious. Help me remove this armor.
Of course, and I'll start.
Yeah, you start unbuckling, specifically starting at the chest, starting to get the plates off, and it takes a couple minutes to remove plate armor and everything else that he's wearing, to where you have a serviceable area. And his chainmail's ruined, where it was just driven through. The plates on the arm are also somewhat ruined, but you get it all taken off. And this was quite nasty, but I have just the thing. He brings out a jar and opens the lid, and there are things squirming inside, Marius. Black.
I believe he needs. Are you a surgeon?
Yeah, of course. This is to clean infection, and he begins dropping leeches around the wound that quickly attach and begin sucking. This is standard practice here. Everything is unclean.
You better make it. And I try to intimidate him.
Okay, give me an intimidation check.
That's a 21 out of 70.
Okay, he the chuckling goes from an actual chuckle to very nervous chuckling. See, of course he will be fine. You watch, and he gets some archaic and rather unclean-looking utensils out of this black bag he has with him, and yes,
Marius, DM question.
yes.
Marius wouldn't know about antiseptic or anything like that, probably, I assume.
No, but you can obviously see that these have not been washed. So you would at least know that. Do with that as you will.
Is that a standard practice? Well, my question is like...
Well, you have not
for a long time,
let's just put it like this. You've never been to a doctor before. Mm-hmm. Ever. You've been to see the Sisters of Shalia, but they use prayers and other simple medicines. You've never seen surgery performed. But at the same time, you can tell this shit is dirty.
Marius will yell at him, "You will clean that before you use it."
Of course. Right. Give me one moment, and he begins fumbling quickly through his bag, looking. Yes, and he's yes. Of course. A couple of the other peasants take a couple steps away from you and begin to trying to make themselves scarce. Yes, right here, and he very shakily uncorks a bottle and begins pouring what looks to be some kind of alcohol over the instruments. And his fingers are shaking because you intimidated him so much. He's scared as he's beginning to go make delicate surgery on Seamus. His hand is unsteady, Marius, because you intimidated him so thoroughly. Good job.
Hey, had to make sure he's doing his...
Yeah, of course not. Let's just
try at least do it,
Yeah, let's see if he permanently cuts one of Seamus's tendons or something inside of here. Let's roll. Let's find out.
All right.
He's shaking.
I love this game.
And he oops, and he makes a little, and there's a little spurt of blood for a second. Gets across his face. He wipes it off. No matter. I got this. And he begins to fumble around in Seamus's arm. Thank God he's unconscious. And he goes, "This will just take a moment, sir. Just if you would step outside."
It's open air, right?
Yes, it's open air. Right? There's no, exactly.
Yeah, I'll take a step out to the outside of the stands, but I'll still be watching him.
Okay. You take a couple steps out of the kind of stable area, just right outside, and kind of looking at him. And after a few minutes, Bragadine, you see Marius standing outside the de facto medical stable.
Bragadine, is this the best man you have?
This is our hospital here. Yes. This is fine, man.
You are a barbarian, Bragadine.
I do not understand why you would use such
Your people are so backwards.
Marius, you have chosen this time to insult my country? Surely we must save Seamus. Perhaps we can send someone to the village. There is a temple of Shalia there.
Don't worry, you have the village butcher right there.
Yes, that's exactly right. How did you know?
Yes, indeed.
You surprised me, Marius. You insult my country, the most civilized of all lands, but you recognize how we utilize the smartest of the peasants.
Mm-hmm.
Bragadine.
How is Seamus? Have you fixed him?
Stop.
He needs to get back.
I'm going to try to intimidate Bragadine.
Oh, intimidate Bragadine?
Okay.
Before you roll for it, on the inside of the tent, Seamus, you suddenly awaken. Yeah. And there's a man digging into your arm with several hooks and knives, and there are leeches attached to it.
Do I assume I feel things?
Oh, you feel horrible things happening to your arm.
I probably start like screaming and moving around.
Yeah, you begin to scream.
Like,
He says,
grab the doctor's throat.
He said, and he's squirming inside, and Marius and Bragadine, you would hear this. You rush in, and as you do, Seamus is squeezing the life out of the doctor right now. He is actually choking to death. So you attempt to break his grip. Go ahead and give me an opposed strength check. So you make one, Seamus.
Seamus, what are you doing?
That's an 85.
Okay.
Marius rolled a 6.
Okay, yeah, he definitely easily breaks your grip. You're weak anyway from blood loss, and he pulls your hand away, and the doctor, clutching at his throat, I think he's gonna be fine, and he's like stumbling away.
You see, Marius?
Thank you, sir. Marius will say, "Thank you, sir," and please finish wrapping up the wound.
And he looks over at you, wide-eyed, Bragadine, like, do I have to?
What are you waiting for?
Yes, my lord. And he stumbles over to Seamus and begins wrapping the wound. Seamus, you recover 9 wounds. You are no longer at 0, but you do have a point of exhaustion for hitting 0.
All right.
And your wounded arm was in fact barely taken care of, so you do not have any permanent.
Christ.
I mean, it was barely. You can thank Marius for that. But it still it still happened. You do not have any permanent injuries, so you are technically at 100%. There are leeches still attached to you. But other than that, you are wrapped up, and he left the leeches on you. You take these off after a couple hours. They will clean the blood.
Marius is going to hand him a silver coin.
Yes.
Whoa, Marius, what are you doing?
Yes, thank you, my lord. And
the greed of these people.
he quickly pockets it, and as he grabs his bag, you see that there is a butcher's frock tucked inside, and and a large cleaver, as he is in fact the village butcher, and he and quickly stumbles his way out of the stables.
A king's ransom you give him, Marius. You should wait. Often, you don't understand. When the surgeon helps somebody, we have to wait a few days because you wait 3-4 days and you smell the wound. And if it smells clean, then he gets a reward. But Seamus may still die. We just don't know. As long as he wins today.
It's at this point that a very hurried Gaston makes his appearance. My lord is our representative in good health?
Oh, he's fine. He's fine. He's perfect. He's ready for the next round.
He has the dueling tournament is about to commence. He is needed.
Bragadine goes over to Seamus and gives him a mighty clap on the back. Oh, Seamus.
Seamus, I think you're going to need this, and I'm going to use one of my heal potions.
Okay.
Oh,
all right. You recover your toughness bonus and wounds, Seamus, as he gives you a big gulp of a syrupy liquid.
Down to the last one.
Down to your last one. And that is where we're going to take our first break.